Your iPhone is tracking you, and this is how you can protect your privacy. By the way, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. So on your iPhone, you go to settings, then you scroll down and go to an option called privacy and security. So most of the options we would want to look at in terms of privacy or tracking will be under privacy and security. To turn off app tracking, you click on tracking here, which is under privacy and security. Then you'll see a list of applications here that will be currently tracking your activity. So it actually shows you here, allow apps to ask to track your activity across other company apps and websites. When this is off, all new app tracking requests are automatically denied. So basically, these apps will be tracking your activity. And if you see a list of applications here that are toggled like this, toggled on, it means that application actually tracks your activity and requests for an ID. So if you just want to disable this for all the apps, you just go here, then it will show you a message here. So you can go here, then choose whichever option you want. It's either allow apps to continue tracking or ask apps to stop tracking. Then if you want to turn off individually, you just turn off, like Facebook. I just turn it off like this. Turn it on, I just turn it on. So as a developer, I also know why some apps track your information here. Some apps would require a sort of device identifier. So they'll want that device identifier when you're using the application, or even sometimes when you're not using the application, so that they can give you personalized ads inside the application or outside. And also they can sort of tailor the information based on different settings like your location, where you're from, your device, etc. So they would want to kind of get that information from your phone. However, in most cases, it doesn't necessarily mean that the app will not function at all. It just means that there are certain elements that will not work if you turn off app tracking here. So I guess the best practice here is to just go through the list of applications that you will see here that are tracking your information and see which applications really do not require that kind of access. If you require like total privacy, then obviously just turn it off for every application. Might not be as recommended. However, if you turn it off for single applications like this, you just go through the list and see which apps, like if you see Fruit Diary, which is a game requesting to track your information. Yes, it might want that for specific sort of functions inside the application. However, you might decide to just turn it off because it's a game. So you don't necessarily want it to be tracking certain information. So next we'll go to privacy and security again. Then you click on location services here. Then after you click on location services, you go to system services. Then you see a list here of system services and they're toggled on. You go down. Now, once you go down, you see this option here, which is called significant locations. You click on it to ask for my Face ID. Then once it gathers my Face ID like that, it will open this page. So basically what this page is it will show you a list. You can see here, it's actually showing 6 March 2026 and the time as well when I was there. It's actually showing also 6 March, also 6 March. So it's actually showing like the records of places I've been to, right? So it keeps that record and you can see a summary here of 179 records. So it keeps that. So in essence, what it's doing is whenever I reach sort of a significant location, I would assume it's a place where you frequently go or you frequently visit, where you're always there pretty much most times or sometimes. Then obviously it will be toggled as a significant location here. And this option here actually says allow your iPhone to learn places significant to you in order to provide useful related information in maps. So basically, this keeps a record here. However, in most cases, what Apple would say is that this information is encrypted and is just stored on your device. So there's really no harm to it. But if you want total privacy, then obviously you just have to clear history here. Then if you don't want it to sort of keep a record of significant locations you have been to, you just toggle it off here. Then it will ask you if you want to turn it off, then just click turn off there, and you can turn off significant locations. So another option, we'll go back to privacy and security here. Then under privacy and security, you find an option analytics and improvements there. Click on it. Now in most cases, you'll find maybe share iPhone analytics will be toggled on like this. You'll see a list of options as well that will come because of toggling that on, like improve voucher mode, etc. You can decide to just toggle this off if you don't want to share analytics of your iPhone on specific items as well. If you also don't want to share iCloud analytics, you can click on that. Then sometimes you might see this toggled on, improve Siri and detection. What this basically does is it helps improve Siri and detection by allowing Apple to store and review audio of your Siri and detection interactions from this device. So I don't know about you, but in most cases, sometimes Siri can just reply or sometimes answer, without you actually calling out Siri or Hey Siri. It can just sort of answer. So it just makes it seem like Siri is always listening. So sometimes this might be toggled on. Even if it's not toggled on, sometimes it might just do that. However, if this is toggled on, then you just toggle it off, because what this means is that whichever interactions you're having with Siri, or whichever interactions you're having and your phone is listening, might be sent to Apple and stored and then reviewed, etc. So basically, you can choose to disable all of these. Also, I have to say that as a developer, most of the times why people want to share analytics is to share, let's say, how the app is performing, crash analytics, bugs as well, sort of events that occasionally occur, on an application. So obviously, sharing iPhone analytics will be very important in some cases, because analytics data will be able to help Apple sort of improve the service they give you by, if you send diagnostic information to Apple, like how many times your phone has crashed, etc., those kinds of things, then they can also be able to improve in some of those instances. So I think that's why we have to share iPhone analytics here, or it asks you to share analytics data. However, if you want total privacy, of course, you might choose to just disable this. So go back to privacy and security again, then we'll go to location services. Then we'll also go to system services here. Now under system services, of course, I showed you this. However, these are also some options you can choose to disable in this case. So they can be used for different things, like Find My Phone is very important, of course, if you lose your phone. So obviously it has to kind of track your location pretty much at all times. Then, there are some things like networking and wireless, motion calibration and distance, HomeKit, those kinds of things. Um, I showed you significant locations, but there's this option as well. You can see iPhone analytics, routing and traffic, improve maps. So these are all the system services that use a location from time to time. And you can see the arrow there, the location arrow, which pretty much shows, that it's actually using your location at that time. So depending on what you want, you might choose to disable some of these items if you want absolute privacy, like total privacy. However, as I said, some of these might be important, like Find My Phone, obviously, if you lose your phone, you'd want to then find your phone based on the location. But if for some reason you don't want it, then you can choose to disable it. However, it's obviously best advised to kind of first go through the list, then see whichever one you want to pick or disable based on your preferences. So we'll go back to location services here, which is under privacy and security. Then on location services, you also see there's an option, share my location here, which you can just choose to say, nope, I don't want to share my location. So you can do that. Or if you go down, you see a list of applications here. So pretty much these are all the sort of permissions that you gave these applications. Say App Store will use your location whilst using the application. So only if you open the application, that's when the location is kind of retrieved. Then there are some like, these ones, WhatsApp Business, always. Always means pretty much at any time, right? So it's not necessarily while using, at any time, even in the background. So it can explain here, if you always allow access, you can choose to share your live location, to update even when you're not using the app. So I think that's why always is ticked, because sometimes if you send someone like your live location on WhatsApp, it would need to kind of track all the time to see where you are at exactly, even if you close WhatsApp. So I guess that's why it's toggled on there. So if you don't want this, then definitely you just go there and maybe choose a better option for you. And there are some Find My, which will be used for, like finding your device, home maps, reminders as well, uses location, not sure why. Safari websites, Siri, voice memos, wallet, etc. So you can choose whichever applications you want to disable the location for here, and I think this will reduce tracking for those applications. Then we'll go to these last ones. So the first one, we'll go here to privacy and security. Then we go to microphone here. So microphone, basically, these are applications that have microphone access on your phone. So here, there's just two, on my other phone, there are a whole bunch of applications here that actually request for microphone access. And microphone access, basically what it means is that an application can use the microphone, like your microphone on your iPhone, and pretty much can listen to whatever you're saying. So this obviously is used in some cases, like in cases, let's say you are using Messenger. In WhatsApp, obviously you can send an audio. So microphone access is necessary. So some people might be skeptical and say, maybe it might be listening even whilst I'm not using the application and I'm just talking and WhatsApp will be listening. Some people might be skeptical like that. And some apps here you will find, let's say a game might require microphone access, but you don't necessarily know why. So you just go through the list of applications here, which have microphone access. And if you think that application doesn't require microphone access, then you just toggle it off like that and you'll be fine. Then the last one will go back to privacy and security, then go under camera here. Under camera, you see again list of applications here that have camera access. So that's another thing which some people are skeptical about. Obviously the front camera, some people might be thinking, someone might be watching from afar and using like the camera of your phone to, let's say, spy on you or see your activity. Sometimes it does happen for sure. And I guess you also have to come here and check which applications use camera access. So as I said, for WhatsApp, obviously video calls, camera, photos, etc. You can send those even on Facebook as well. But if you find an application here that doesn't necessarily require camera access, then definitely toggle it off. And this will improve your privacy and also assist you in limiting tracking on your iPhone. So I'd say it's important to strike a balance between your iPhone collecting important data for service delivery, as well as the applications on your iPhone, as well as your privacy, because it's always 50-50 in these cases. However, if you want complete control, then you can turn all of these off. But striking a balance would also assist Apple to improve service delivery on your iPhone, as well as applications to improve service delivery, to know which apps have crashed and where, to know your location, and also give you advertisements based on like specific locations, or improve services based on the exact location where you're at. But even if you turn all of these options off, we can never be 100% sure what these phones send. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and also comment your thoughts.